Today's match reaction is brought to you by FanTeam, where you can win £100,000 in the second chance fantasy football season game. The links are in our description below and in the live comment section. Go check it out at the end of this stream. Smash that like and share button. Let's go, people. Chelsea drop points. They crumble. They lose ground in the dying moments against Brighton this evening. Inexplicable. Dominated for large parts at home. Chelsea could not get going. They now sit a whopping 8 points behind Man City, who are winning right now away against Brentford. Liverpool, of course, moved to third in the league. 9 points behind City as it stands right now. Has the title race maybe ended tonight? If there's a draw this weekend, a draw between Chelsea and Liverpool, they could both be out of the title race. They could both be over 10 points behind Manchester City, the relentless Manchester City. Many didn't see this coming. Chelsea have been so strong at the back, so resolute for 12 months. Liverpool so potent, scoring in nearly every single game. And in the space of 24 hours, Manchester City have been handed a huge advantage in this Premier League title race. We want your views. We want your opinions. Make sure that like button is being smashed. A big shout out to our title sponsors tonight, FanTeam. As said in the intro, win £100,000 in the second chance fantasy football season. It's free to enter. Don't play the Premier Leagues. What's the point? Don't play any newspapers. What's the point? Free to enter. £100,000 prize. The link's in the description and in the live comment section. Check that out. Super chat starting to roll in now. Panel on the way later. We'll keep you up to date with the Manchester City score. Still half an hour to go in that game. Let's all laugh at Chelsea. The fake Champions League champions is what Man City are winning the CL and PL season. Has got to say, Terry still have Chelsea as favourites to win. Not anymore. It has changed dramatically. I didn't see a collapse of this magnitude. The 5th draw in 9 games now for Chelsea. And the fact that, I'll be honest with you, they were bullied tonight at home. Chelsea Football Club were taken apart from pillar to post by Brighton. Basuma dominated the middle. Defensively, they were so secure tonight. There was a few hairy moments. The counter-attack where Hudson-Odoi doesn't make his pass. That could have been, that moment there could be huge. But they were opened up time and time again tonight, Chelsea. They're going to feel very disappointed with that. They truly are. CFC Matty says, so annoying. And I hear you're annoyed there, my bro. Why would you not be? Let's all laugh at Chelsea. Park the bus merchants is what Josh Smith has got to say. We have a legend and super fan chat here from, I can't pronounce the name, but he says, we have the most spineless attack in the league. All the games we've drawn at home, we should have won if they knew how to take their chances, as it would have given the team confidence. Pathetic is what's got to say there. Absolutely pathetic. There's a comment here that says, everybody disrespected City, including you, Terry. It's not about disrespecting City. You're really looking at it from the wrong side, in the wrong way completely. I didn't expect Chelsea to drop points at home to Burnley, to Brighton, to a terrible Man United team, to a terrible Everton team. That isn't about saying, what City are doing now, I expected. I expected Liverpool and Chelsea to keep up with them. I think Liverpool and Chelsea are that good. It's not about the disrespect of City. It's about Chelsea and Liverpool underperforming and right now underachieving with squads as good as they are. They're right now, as it stands, they're 8 and 9 points behind City, respectively. By the time the game kicks off, if City have still got to win tonight, but by the time Chelsea-Liverpool this weekend kicks off, they could be 11 and 12 points behind, respectively. If that game's a draw, they're both out of the title race, in my opinion. I do not see them both picking up 10 and 11 points, respectively, against Manchester City. I don't. But let me reiterate this, Weds. I've always said Man City, brilliant, brilliant team. I just expected Chelsea and Liverpool to be better than they are now. So, my friend, I respect you. You're a regular super chatter, but you're looking at this from the wrong direction, my brother. You really, really are. Am I right in saying Chelsea are a mile ahead? They are right now. They are right now. And some people predicted Chelsea would collapse. Some people predicted Liverpool would collapse. I just didn't think they would be as bad as they have been. And they have been terrible in this last couple of months now, Chelsea, or last 10, 11 games. No doubt about it. Absolutely. Tricks J here says title race done is what he's got to say. Terry, make sure the Chelsea panel don't go hiding. They've got the link. I don't know where they are, but they have got the link. Chelsea have been shocking ever since the Man United game. Seems like Carrick really did break Tuchel, is what Andre's got to say here. Premier League title is out of reach now. Need to get healthy and focus on the Champions League going forward this season. Rivals enjoy our form now. Season's far from over, is what C's got to say. Finally, some pride from Le Carrington. Graham Lee Gunner, stunt double Potter. Displaying real magic, unlike Timmy Tuchel. Chelsea fans in hiding race over, is what Joshua Jack has got to say here. Surely Terry has been on commission to promote the false idea of a title race. To compare Chelsea to City has got to be blasphemy. I don't think so. Listen, we all make predictions. Some things come off, some things don't. I really expected Chelsea and Liverpool to stay with City. They haven't done it. That's on them, not me. Like, mine's just a prediction. They're the people out there working and doing their business. As a Chelsea fan, I don't think no title race equals poor season. You don't think no title race equals poor season. Well, that'll be an interesting take we'll throw to the panel a little bit later, my brother. You know, if Chelsea or Liverpool end up 12, 13, 14 points behind City, is that and I'm asking you, the crowd, is that a bad season for Chelsea? How many points behind the league leaders does it until it becomes bad? I'm asking you to answer that question. Everyone's going to have a different view and opinion on that. Chelsea and Roman, it's time to call me last dance, is what someone who's posing as Jose says. Chelsea collapsing like the Roman Empire is what Star-Lord has got to say here. It's what he's got to say. And I understand why he's saying that as well. I completely understand why that is being said. We have sent the link out to a fair number of Chelsea fans, not heard back from too many of them as of now. We'll get some callers on very, very soon indeed. We want to hear from them. Maybe some Chelsea fans were a little bit premature laughing at Liverpool last night. I wonder how they're feeling about that today. Terry, I demand to see Monster Munch man's in hiding. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is there. But there we go. Let's do some more of your super chats here. Tuchel needs to fix the attack around Mount, Lukaku and Havertz. League is done. Congrats to City. Hope they get Liverpool in the quarterfinals in Europe. We're going to go on a 20-game unbeaten run, but I expect Liverpool to bounce back after the AFCON. Chelsea are not built for this title race, is what Wesley believes here. Terry, will Tuchel get sacked at the end of the season? Listen, that's far too premature talk right now. Let's see where he finishes. Let's see how many points behind City he is. Let's see how they do in the Champions League, how they do in the domestic cups. Right now, I would say that's far too premature a statement to make. It really, really is. No league since 2017 for Chelsea. Yeah, it's growing now. If people believe they're out of this race, it's a long time. What is that, 5? I'm an idiot. 5 years. It's a long, long time indeed for Chelsea to have not won one. Considering Chelsea's, since Roman's been here, I swear they haven't gone 5 years before. They won 2 straight away, went 3 years and won 1. Yeah, I think the longest gap's been, 3 years prior? So really not good. Winnerpool says, Terry, Liverpool and Chelsea have both beaten City is the only way to stop them winning the league. But even then, that may not be enough. You need to both beat them. But if you're 9 and 8 points behind them respectively, Beating them is only 3 points each. You only gain 3 points on them each. If you both win at the same weekends, that's 6 points. You still need to be better than them by 4 to 5 points each. Liverpool, yes, do have a game in hand, so that could be where they do it. But you're talking about if by the end of this weekend you're a Chelsea fan and you're 11 or so points behind, there needs to be a 12-point swing. 12 points. You've got to be 12 points better in the second half of the season than Man City. That is the odds on that will be astronomical. Astronomical. League's going to be boring now if it's a one-horse race. It will be. But that ain't on City. That's not on City. It's on their competitors. It's on everybody who's competing against them. And it's on everybody to ensure that, they stay the course. They haven't done that. Simple and as straightforward as that. Danny Welbeck tonight, putting that final nail in that coffin. I may be wrong, but Terry, you predicted that Chelsea would win the title, City second, United third, Liverpool fourth. I think I predicted Chelsea first, City second, Liverpool fourth, Liverpool third, Man United fourth is what I predicted. We'll see what happens in relation to that. We are going to do second half of the season predictions just after New Year's, after the last round of Premier League games. We'll see what everybody says then. But I think everyone's going to be going with City. Lukaku struggles to adapt because he's coming from a front two. Now he's all alone. Tuchel will be sacked soon, is what Eric Palmer has to say here. There'll be some Chelsea fans that'll be happy with that. There'll be some tonight saying, why did we get rid of Lampard? I'm sure there'll be a few. Terry, City are beatable, and I'm watching the match. The problem is that they have a fear factor. It's interesting. I am watching the Brentford game. I've kept an eye on it, and Brentford have really had a go at them tonight, and they are beatable. The difference is what I've noticed in Chelsea games in the last 8 or 9 matches they've played in, teams are starting to believe in themselves when they're up against them. Liverpool, the last couple of games, Leicester and Spurs have believed in themselves because the form hasn't been so great. The only way back into this now for Chelsea and Liverpool is if City have a slip up in form, but they capitalize. And that's the only thing I'm going to say that I think could happen. You can almost see City maybe going through a couple of games where they drop points, but will Liverpool and Chelsea, or either of them or both of them, capitalize? That's going to be the very big question there. I swear Mason Mount won the ball fairly at the end, is what Andrew Laurie's got to say. Be honest with you, Brighton were the best team in the game tonight. I don't even feel like it was a smash and grab. Brighton had 17 attempts on goal versus Chelsea's 10. They had 52% of the possession. They created 12 chances, 3 of them big chances versus 8 and only 1 big chance for Chelsea in the game. They were by far the better team. There is no doubt about it. Brentford are in. Oh, it's just about being cleared here. Brentford are really throwing numbers forward here against City. I don't think City will probably appreciate the fight here. Corner to Brentford. Sorry there, I got distracted. Panel coming very soon, people. Let's get this stream past the 500 like mark first of all, please. Man City are the best team in England by a mile, is what Halo's got to say here. I feel like the week is setting up for an Arsenal win on Saturday. Otherwise, the league is wrapped up. Hope I'm wrong. Well, do you know what's mad? Big up, Josh King. Hope you're well, brother. Do you know what's interesting? Jess said it on the Straight Facts podcast earlier today. Every Liverpool fan and every Chelsea fan right this moment has just become an Arsenal supporter. They will be desperate for Arsenal to do something, pick up pace, perform well, and of course pick the win up. I'm just watching this cross into the box here again. Well held there by Edison. Brentford are really going for it here, though. Brentford are absolutely giving it a go. Jorginho nearly won the Ballon d'Or, is what Wesley's got to say. He was poor tonight. And the man, at times, Basuma robbed him of the ball. And by the way, Basuma, just say quickly, sensational player. Basuma is sensational. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the very best players in the league. Honestly, 50 million quid. Oh, 50 million pounds. Every bit. Tonight, and what I saw, every bit as good as Declan Rice. Sensational. Can we put some respect on my team's name and say they are just as good a chance as Chelsea of getting top 4? Come on, you gooners, is what Caden King's got to say. Listen, if Arsenal do something against City this week, this top 4 race and everything surrounding it could be blown wide open. Remember, Chelsea are going to miss, 2 Premier League games for the World Club Championships. Teams have got a chance of catching them. Yes, they'll have games in hand, but we know they're not a guarantee. I still think there's going to be some trials and tribulations left in this league. I really do. Hi, Terry, mate. Just joined after finishing my own stream when we revealed our new manager. Brighton, decent point. Tuchel in a bit of bother. Listen, I'd say for Brighton, it's a fantastic point. Imagine coming from behind this season against Liverpool and Chelsea. That's absolutely sensational from Brighton's point of view. It really, really is. We lost the midfield. Brighton deserved the point, is what Lamin's got to say. You're right. And listen, if Brighton would have won that game, that would not have been a shock result. If they had a Lukaku-level striker up front, they beat Chelsea tonight. You know, this is a little different from the Burnley and the Man United game and the Everton game, where Chelsea had the most of the ball, the best chances, dominated. Tonight, Chelsea, in some respects, were lucky to get a draw tonight. They really were. There's no lies being told. Brighton were brilliant. Terry, what do you need to win the league next year? What do we need to win the league next year? You need to sort out the goal scoring. And I think because you become, again, less of a threat up front, people are more inclined to want to attack you. When you're not packing potent punches, people attack you less. In every single sport in the world, when you've got a brilliant attack, think about any sport where you have to attack something, whether it's rugby, football, boxing, MMA, F1, if you are brilliant in the attack, people don't want to go toe-to-toe with you. They don't want to open up against you. Chelsea have become impotent, flaccid, soft. No lead in their pencil right now. And I'll tell you what would be a real disappointing factor tonight if I was a Chelsea fan. The fact that Chelsea went 1-0 up and then didn't have another shot or attempt on target until about the 80th minute. From the 28th minute to the 80th, they were the second best team. And you do need to look at your approach, because you were the better team up until that point. As soon as Brighton put it on Chelsea, and I put that down to mentality. I feel like this title race, as soon as it's got serious and it's must win, Chelsea are reverting to the Chelsea we saw under Lampard. They really are, where they're not capitalizing. The April's going. And as a football fan, looking at a team with that abundant of talents, it's disappointing to see. It really is. By the way, we have appointed our caretaker manager at Donny. One time, the youngest debutant in the Prem in Gary McSheffrey. I remember that name. Held the record for 4 years. Top man, Gary McSheffrey, and congratulations for taking over at Doncaster Rovers. Big up Terry as well. I'm a huge Arsenal fan from Canada. And there any way I can get on the football terrace to share my opinions? Some are very controversial. As long as they're football controversial, I'm fine with it. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy with that. We share the link for a lot of shows, so feel free to jump on. I'm sure we're going to have more people join this. I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans are now watching at the edge of their seats in the Man City game who go, it's over the bar. I thought we were going to go 2-1 up there. I'm going to bring some callers in before the panel come out, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Chelsea fan Matt on the line with us now. Let's get him on to have his say. How's it going, brother?
I mean, it's a disappointing game, Terry. I mean, every Chelsea fan's going to come on here and say how disappointing it is. Every draw we've had this season feels like a loss, and again, this draw feels like a loss. It's an embarrassing game, embarrassing result, but what can we do about it? I mean, we've had the same problems, injuries. We've had Reece James come off now injured, then Christensen comes off injured. 2 players have amazing games today, and then they come off injured, and then we're going to bring Chalobah, then we're going to force Christensen to play left wing back, and then Alonso has to come on. So it's an embarrassing game. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, I am sorry, but this man needs to stay on the bench where he belongs. It is an embarrassment for him to be playing like this at Chelsea Football Club. It is an embarrassment. I can't believe he misses like that. And then there's J5 as well. I mean, I think he's probably one of the best midfielders, in the world. But today he's played absolutely horrible. And I think we've woken up now to that. The system doesn't revolve around him, and we got to find a new way to keep bringing the ball from the back up like we do with Kovacic, because we're not getting any attacking threats. We had half an hour. We didn't after that goal we scored. We didn't have a shot nearly all game after the goal we scored, which is quite embarrassing for a club who's supposed to be winning the title race. Again, it's an embarrassing result. Rudiger, Christensen, all that back line needs to kind of wake up, because again, they scored for the first time at Stamford Bridge in some stat in some long time, whatever. But I don't even know what else to say really. It's just embarrassing. That's pretty much it.
I want to ask you about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Obviously, you're not happy with him. I know he messed up terribly, but I mean, you're someone that just doesn't think he's as good as the hype suggests.
I think he's a fantastic player, honestly, but I don't see him in the squad right now. I think we have better players who could be starting over him, like we've got Ziyech, who would have been perfect in this game, or if they were available, Havertz or winner. I'm not I'm not gonna be angry when he starts. I mean, I'm not angry when 90% of the players start, but if he does start, he needs to prove something like he has. But there's these last 3-4 games, he hasn't proven anything, and that's why he needs to stay on the bench until he can become and get back in that form. I'm a big fan of him. I think he can do well, but if he's gonna keep playing like this, we might as well not start him and send him off to Bayern or Napoli or someone else who wants him. But this also has given us the light that we need to bring players in January. And I've come on here and I've said that January is a window where we must be buying players. January is not a window where we buy players normally, but this window needs to be big for Chelsea. We need to bring players in. Reece James looking like he's got a hamstring injury. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but that means Digne needs to come in January 1st, 12:01 a.m. Digne should be in the team.
I can sense the disappointment in your voice, mate. Listen, I pretty appreciate you coming on and having your say.
Thanks,
Matt,
Damian.
we'll speak again soon. Top man, thank you. I get the disappointment. Look, Hudson-Odoi, I think he's been excellent in that run recently. Tonight, though, he deserves the criticism. A simple pass to put Mount in, get a 2-goal lead, finish the game off, take the 3 points, and he messed up. And you have to criticize players when they make that level of mistake. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And the Chelsea front line has so much talent, but it just it jaffers on too many occasions. It just fires blanks too regularly, and that's what's costing them. Those 5 draws that we've mentioned, when you look at Chelsea, we'll look at them now. I'm waiting for the fixtures to come up in front of me. It's taken an eternity to load here. You think about those 5 Premier League draws that we've kind of touched on already. Burnley battered them for chances, didn't score. Man United, how they didn't score more goals is unbelievable. Everton, the Wolves game, okay, they had players out, but still, it's Wolves. Wolves don't really score goals. And then you've got the game against Brighton. Liverpool now on the 2nd of Jan. Gargantuan football match. Absolutely. Terry, if Target's not available, you take Potter, is what... listen, Graham Potter's team play very nice football. They really do. The Premier League Player of the Month, Odegaard, KDB, or who? Based on tonight's performance, I'm giving it to Basuma. But look, I think you'll end up seeing someone like KDB get it. Odegaard could definitely be in with a shout as well. He's been absolutely sensational. It's not something I've really thought about too much, but yeah, definitely those guys are all in contention for that in terms of how they've played and what they've done. As well. But thank you for that super chat panel on its way in a few moments time. We've got David, Cameron, Daniel, we've got CFC Beast, and we've got Man Like Mo all coming on to have their say on the terrace. Just under 10 minutes to go now. Well, about 8 minutes to go plus injury time in the Man City game. They're still 1-0 up. And just crazy tonight. I get how good City are, but Brentford, have just shown a lot of teams in the Prem that have been, Leicester's, Leeds, how you play against City tonight. They've been aggressive when they needed to be, and then resolute and strong defensively at the same time. And even the goal they conceded, they almost played it right to catch them offside. They've really given it a good account of themselves tonight. But Man City currently about to go 8 points clear over Chelsea and 9 points clear over Liverpool in the title race. Let's get the panel out now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make sure we get this stream past 500 likes. I want to say a big shout out again tonight to our title sponsors. In 14 days' time, they launched what they call the second chance season in their fantasy football league. You register tonight via the link in my description below, and you get to enter for free. If you win their second half fantasy football league, you win £100,000 cash. So it costs you nothing to enter, and you win £100,000 cash. Get the link saved in your bookmarks. As soon as the stream's done, go and get yourself signed up over there right about now, people. It's a huge offer. If you play Fantasy League already, why would you not play this for free? Everyone starts on 0 and win 100 grand cash, tax-free in your bank account. Panel time, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea fans fuming with the result tonight. Some look a little bit relaxed backstage. Cam looks like he's ready to speak as well. It's going to be fun. Let's go. Welcome back to the show, everyone. A disappointing night again for Chelsea. I want to speak to David first. Happy birthday, by the way. Obviously, a terrible result for your birthday tonight, mate. Give me your thoughts.
It's just unlucky. Brighton probably should have won, but we definitely had chances towards the end to win the game. There's not much more to say. We just need to play better. We've been in really bad form. Even when we're winning, we're still not playing well. We haven't played well in like the last 9-10 games, so it's just been a struggle.
It has been. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, why was the performance so poor tonight? Why were you dominated at home by Brighton, in your opinion? What was missing from Chelsea's team?
I just think we're missing balance in the squad. Like we're really like low on numbers right now, like really low. And then you have 2 injuries out in pretty much the first half, and you got to make 2 subs, and then you've got 1 sub left to make further on, and you can't make that sub because you're worried that other players are going to get injured. Because we're one of the only teams who's played that whole Christmas schedule as it should have been played. So it's tough. But Brighton were just really good. We know Brighton can play good football, and they played really good football today. So fair play to them.
How about yourself, Dan? Obviously, I know you remain very positive through this run now, but you currently sit 8 points behind City. Are you starting to believe the title race is over? You're on mute.
I think it would be a bit. What's it called? Optimistic, even for myself, to think that we can win. We are going to win the title race and whatnot. I still think as fans, it's still. I think it's quite weird that people want us not to be in the title race, if that makes sense. I just think it's a bit weird from fans. If rival fans do it, that is totally fine, and that's what you have to accept. But I think as fans, if you're kind of bigging your chest up and saying, I told you so, we aren't in the title race, it's a bit of a weird flex for me. But personally, look, if you look at the game today, I think there were a number of issues across the pitch. I think Jorginho looked slumped, like as if he had a hangover. Like he looked tired. Like it was so scary. Kovacic as well. He looked leggy as well. Like till Kante came on, the midfield was looking. It was worrying. Like how bad we were just letting the ball be given back to Brighton. I think very, very simple mistakes were being made in the first half. Mount and Hudson-Odoi were very, very poor. Mount obviously got better in the second half, but Hudson-Odoi wasn't able to show anything, and he deserves criticism definitely for his performance. But all in all, I think we can't be too
2-0 City, Laporte with a header. That's it. Game done. 2-0 in the 86th minute. 8 points and 9 points respectively. Sorry, I had to shout that in, but it's done. It's in.
Yeah. So I just think it's a bit of a stretch to be putting so much. Do you know what I find funny? The funniest takeaway for me is every time Chelsea now, I think we've only lost 1 game in the last 19. Fair enough, the draws aren't great, but we've only lost 1 game in the last 19. Every time we drop points, we're the only team that is Tuchel's job that's on the line. We literally have at 1 point ahead of Liverpool, but Tuchel's job is still on the line. It makes no sense. I really don't understand. The guy he doesn't have his own players. He still bought 1 player, transfer-wise, bought 1 player. He's the only one that hasn't been allowed to have a team and really go for it. What I will say as well, final thing for me, 3-0.
No, offside.
Offside. It's been
Offside.
disallowed. Oh,
Yes.
there's a chance.
Yes.
There's a chance. It's been disallowed. It's been disallowed. Oh,
nah.
fuck you again.
I
What do you
I
mean
think
the
the main thing for me is, and I said this, I don't know if you remember, Terry, but remember when it was the Champions League final, and I was saying basically Man City don't have that DNA of getting to the final and being able to do it and being able to successfully win a Champions League when they haven't had that hurt, that pain, knowing how to be in a Champions League final. I think this group of players don't know how to win a league title yet, and I think they need this year to grow, character build, and all of that, and then next year come back again stronger. That's my personal opinion.
I hear you on that. CFC Beast, do you agree with Daniel? Like, this isn't Tuchel's team yet. You know, he's only bought one player. So in terms of title push, is this acceptable in your eyes? Going, you know, halfway through the season, being 8 points off the top.
I mean, like, based on our, like, at the beginning of the season, you know, Chelsea fans expected we would at least be in the title race by now. Obviously, I hoped that by the time the Club World Cup comes, especially when we're like 4 or 5 games in, I was thinking maybe like we'll have a 3-point gap at the top to, you know, maybe because obviously the Club World Cup and everything, and then we'll come back. But it's just the way we've collapsed in the space of these months is just crazy. And in terms of Tuchel's squad, like, obviously he bought one player and like he hasn't had the time that maybe a Klopp or a Pep has with the group of players that he has to, you know, develop them into a title winning side. But just in terms of what we expected for this season, like, the players have to be doing a lot better, man, because like I love Odoi, I love Callum, but players like Callum today were just poor. I don't agree with Matt. You know, the guy saying that he should be dropped and he should be benched over one game. I think a lot of players can have a bad game, but today Odoi was abysmal. You know, Jorginho and Kovacic were leggy, and I feel like those three were our main problem. Our double pivot and our left and Odoi were just losing the ball in so many areas. We weren't able to dominate, and, you know, Bissouma, McAllister and Mulder, I think that's the other guy's name, they capitalized on it, man. And then, you know, that's just how the game turned out. But it's so disheartening and disappointing from a Chelsea side that had so much expectation at the beginning of the season.
It's a comment here that says, get rid of Jorginho and bring back Gilmore. He's getting a lot of stick tonight, J5. He's getting a lot of stick from people this evening. We will go to Cam from a rival perspective in a minute. Of course, we've got Mo here. What are you saying, mate?
I just want to say that, to be honest, watching the game today, it was very surprising that actually Brighton played only 3 players with defensive abilities, which were Dan Burn, Veltman, and probably Bissouma. Everybody else on the field had an offensive ability more than defensive. Cucurella is not actually a left wing back. Tarek Lamptey, we know that he goes forward. So it's actually a shame that actually Thomas Tuchel did not read the game well. With a team like Brighton, we know how they play good football on the ground. They couldn't actually read the game at all, the Chelsea players or their coach, Thomas Tuchel. And it's just surprising that they have Lukaku. I know that Hudson-Odoi is quick. Pulisic is quick. And Mason Mount, but they didn't play to their strength. They fell into the trap of Brighton today, passing the ball left and right. And tactically, I thought Thomas Tuchel got it all wrong. I know that Hudson-Odoi put that pass well, and we're not talking the same talk. But as you said, Terry, it felt like they never had an authority on this game, Chelsea. From the first minute, it felt like Brighton are the ones that are playing home. Brighton are the ones that are actually taking the initiative to trying to play their football instead of Chelsea. And this is very surprising from a team that should be title challengers. And this is something that maybe Thomas Tuchel needs to sit with these players mentally and prepare them to have like winners mentality. I did not see this from Lukaku today. I did not see this from Mason Mount, who's trying very hard to play, but it didn't work for him. It didn't work for Hudson-Odoi. And I think it's mentally, apart from the football, the tactical changes that he did with Pulisic playing on the right. Chelsea, this Thomas Tuchel came to this team last year and they were leaking goals, and he tightened everything to prevent them from leaking goals. I thought they actually conceded a lot more chances today than what they did last season in most of their games. And this is something that they need to look at this. I know that Thiago Silva didn't play, but there is no excuses here. He has experience there, and They should be tightening the defense more. You should not concede all these chances. It felt that this Chelsea team is bound to concede the goal sooner than later, and they conceded it at the end, so there was no time for them to get that goal back.
I don't think any Chelsea fan would. I felt that the only time that when they brought on N'Golo Kante, you saw that the chances conceded reduced. There was an improvement there, which was the irony is that then that they went like 15 minutes without really creating, and then the one chance they did get, they kind of scored from. Like Cam, what's your take from your point of view? Is about 5 seconds to go of the game as well. Injury time almost up now in that game. City are going to pick up those 3 points. It looks like. What was your take, Cam, from a neutral watching the game tonight?
It was interesting because Chelsea started well. As soon as the goal went in, they got played off the park from that point on. It was very interesting to see the shift in tactics. It was like they were trying to protect the lead versus going for the game, which seems to kind of be the way Chelsea's been playing a bit. A lot of empty possession. Sure, there's a lot of games that they won, but you mentioned all the games where they battered teams, but they didn't really put the games away. But in my opinion, when I was watching a lot of those games, it was a lot of possession and nothing happening. They're going to struggle without a goal scorer that fits the system. I'm not sure Lukaku's that guy. I find it interesting that Daniel's saying, well, it's not Tuchel's team. When is it any coach's team? Let's be honest. I've listened to Chelsea fans for the last 3 years brag about the system, the structure, and how it doesn't matter who the manager is because you have such a good structure. You buy the right players, and then you chop and change. It's the Chelsea system is to chop and change managers. It's not about letting the manager create the team. It hasn't. And tell me when that's been the case. I think maybe Jose got. How is it not true? You've gone through 4 managers in the last 5 years.
Yeah, but no, but when we had Conte had his place. To be fair.
Okay, so one manager.
Conte, Jose.
One sec. If you're gonna have this take, like at least be clued up on the facts in it. Sarri brought in a couple of his players, brought in Jorginho, brought in Higuain, Kovacic came in. So those were players that he wanted and brought it.
So 3 players
that he wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. Frank Lampard got given 200 million to spend. He brought in Havertz, brought in Ziyech, brought in a number of players. About 4 players he brought in.
So okay.
One sec. I'm just giving it to you, and then you can
go
through it. So Lampard brought in about 4 to 5 players that were supposed to suit his system and the way that he wanted to play, but he eventually got sacked. So all I'm saying is that Tuchel needs to also be given money to bring in players for himself.
So my response to that is, so you're saying all because of what I had always heard were Chelsea buys players based on their structure, and that it's not always. I mean, I'd always heard that it was Marina, that it was the structure. You target specific players, like you went and got Havertz because he was available. My understanding was when I was watching that whole saga, it seemed like Frank Lampard wanted Declan Rice. During that whole saga, it didn't seem like Kai Havertz was his number 1 choice. So I'm sitting here wondering now, all of a sudden, it's the managers and it's not the structure. It's not the so maybe I'm confused on it because it seemed to me before it was the way Chelsea did it. They targeted certain players. Anyway, to go back to the game, I do think you guys, in my opinion, and I'm gonna say it for you because you don't want to say it. Injuries are your season's done. It's just like when Liverpool fell off. You cannot survive with the injuries you guys have sustained. And that's not an excuse. It's an absolute fact. And I know nobody from their team wants to say that, but once Reece James goes down, Christensen goes down, you're down to like your 3rd, 2nd. Your team's not deep enough, unfortunately, to keep up in the league with City. And you're going to fall into a top 4 race if all those injuries don't come back. It's impossible. Like, how can you survive?
Do you know what? I don't even think it's a case of our team not being deep enough. I think what the issue is, one player gets injured, another player gets injured, the 3rd person gets injured. Then once the guys who are the B and C options come into the team and the lineup, they get injured just as those guys that got injured previously are coming back. So it's a bit of a stop-start. But I don't even think that's an excuse. I just think, if we're being real, I just think we're a year away. We haven't shown that we can last the full 38 games, and this kind of run has shown it. Still, we can show, especially in the Christmas period, until we can show that we can consistently win games, that's when we'll finally be ready to win the title.
Can I ask a question for the Chelsea fans, please?
We're just way too inconsistent, man. Yeah,
one question. How is the Chelsea team, the squad on paper? You guys have a backup for every single position. That backup is actually supposedly a good option internationally. Like in the midfield, you have Jorginho, Kovacic, Conte, and I rate Loftus-Cheek, to be honest. And the only place that you don't have backup is the right wing back, but Azpilicueta can play that position. And Pulisic today played it. He's not a defensive guy, but he can play it. On defense, you have a lot of options, especially with Chalobah performing as he is right now. And also Sarr did not perform bad when he came in. Lukaku, Havertz, Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount. These are a lot of options I don't think Liverpool has. So I know that we're saying Hudson-Odoi did not perform today, but on paper, Chelsea should have a deeper squad than Liverpool. So the excuse that we're saying about they don't have a deep squad, I don't think it should be there. And I know that Thomas... Just one thing.
No. For me, the thing is, like, I don't think it's the depth. I feel like we have a deep squad, but I feel like the difference is between us and City is the quality of our depth. Like, the quality is just not there. A lot of our attackers, you know, your names of your Pulisic, your ZX, your Havertz, your Werners, just haven't been consistent enough. Like, but apart from Pulisic's lockdown period, he just hasn't really done anything at this football club. You know, like Havertz, he had the Champions League final goal. Has he really done anything apart from that this season? Has he? Werner,
Who's that on? These guys
what do you mean?
Chelsea as superstars. I'm sorry, Kai Havertz was a superstar. Hakim Ziyech was a superstar. Is that on the manager or that on the system?
That's just them, innit? Like, look, it's not. Look, any player, not every player is gonna suit a league or a system. It's as simple as that. Are these the same players that Tuchel bought? No, and we have to, like, this is a system that Tuchel thought, you know, for him, based on the players that we had, was a quick fix and a quick solution, and it worked. And so far it's been working. Obviously, we've been in bad form as of recent, but he just saw it and he said to himself, these players suit this system the most. But just because players do well in another league doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well in this league. That's not how football works.
I'm not loving the way you're saying it. It's just this super chat. So that shelf looks like it's going to drop on Daniel. We are going to speak a little bit about this weekend's game coming up. Of course, we've got the Bet Victor show tomorrow where we'll be previewing the games in entirety. Josh King here, I saved this super chat from earlier, says if Arsenal beat City, they are 4 points off Chelsea. If Liverpool win their games in hand, they are 3 points off Chelsea. Top 4 race pending.
100%.
Spurs and Arsenal play each other.
Exactly. Wait 1 sec. Again, this is my. You know what? It's funny, isn't it? Like, people need to put things into perspective. We can do the ifs game too. Arsenal play Spurs in that run, so think about it there. And if we beat Liverpool, what happens then? So Liverpool are in the top 4. I want to see Liverpool in the top 4.
We still have to play Spurs as well.
Daniel,
if Man City lose 3 games in a row, we win 3 games in a row, then we'll be back.
No. What he's trying to say there, what he's trying to say is the truth, though, in the sense that, like, the other day it was asked on the show, and Terry actually backed Chelsea. He's like, somebody's like, is Chelsea going to get dropped out of the top three race or whatever? And the honest answer I said was, I think so, because I thought the injuries were going to pile up. Terry didn't. Truthfully, if you have one more bad result, all of a sudden it does just take Arsenal. And I get it. We're saying ifs and buts, but we're at a point now where it's glaring its head that this is a possibility. Before I picked Chelsea to win the league, let's be completely honest. Before I didn't even think this was going to be a thing. Liverpool does have AFCON coming up. There are some interesting things happening in the league that an Arsenal win on the weekend blows everything up.
I agree. I don't necessarily think Chelsea are going to fall out, but I still think they'll come good. But in fairness, Chelsea, every week I think, do you know what? Or every game, I'm like, Chelsea will move forward from here. Chelsea will be okay now. Because I don't think the injuries are an excuse, if I'm being honest. Because in the 5, I know you've lost 2 games this season, you've drawn 6. But if you look at those 5 losses with draws we've spoken about that happened recently, barring tonight, you have been the better team in all of them. You had the majority of your best team playing to starting games tonight. Ben Chilwell, yep, he was out as an example, cool. And of course, you'd like Thiago Silva to be in your team. But you still had, pound for pound, a better and stronger team than Brighton. So there is no excuse to deliver against them. In those other 4 draws, your injuries didn't play a part. You just didn't finish your chances.
That's not true, Terry, though, because remember, the reason why I disagree with you is because in that run of the games where we were dominating and didn't finish, it was a typical last season's game where we had a lot of possession, had a lot of the chances, and didn't finish our dinner. What did we do to rectify that situation? We brought in a striker who could finish off chances like he did today. It was just that today we weren't the team in the ascendancy, and we weren't creating a number of chances. But he took his chance today. In those games, we didn't have the person who was brought in to finish those chances. So I guess for me personally, I think you have to kind of weigh it in on both sides. Fair enough, yeah, we did have our squad, but I do think the injuries have played a part, because one of the main injuries that we had was Lukaku being out for basically 2 months, and he was not there to finish it.
But you're not playing to his strength. I'm sorry, Terry, but you're not. I'm sorry. We are seeing Chelsea not playing to Lukaku's strength. That happened last game, and Terry talked about it in the show. When you get Lukaku some crosses, and when you get Lukaku on the counter, Dan Burn dominated. Lukaku couldn't turn for his life today. Is that on Lukaku himself? Or that's on the system? I see Lukaku great on the counter attack. Go ahead.
Or maybe Dan Burn just had a good game. Like
when you spend 100 mil, I don't care about system. You got to be scoring goals.
Brilliant answer. This is it. 100 mil means goals.
100 mil means goals. 100 mil means goals.
That's it. For me. That's it.
Everyone knows my opinions. People know my opinions on Lukaku.
So this is the thing though. When you guys went out and bought Lukaku, and I think honestly, I think this is the same situation with Havertz. Chelsea have this thing where they go and get players when they become available because they can buy them, right? They have the money. Everybody wanted you guys to go after Haaland heavy. For me, if you couldn't get the player you wanted, I get it. You needed a striker, you needed a goal scorer. But Lukaku is a very interesting player. We've seen him in the Prem. All of us. We've all seen it. Like, let's not pretend we haven't. We know the type of player he is against specific teams and the way he likes to play. Conte built his entire system in Inter around Lukaku. In order for Lukaku to be the player you expect him to be, you have to build around him. And I don't know if Chelsea's team is built for his strengths.
I don't think we have the players to even build the system around him we don't have. We don't have enough creators in this squad. I said it.
You have a lot of players to play between the lines.
I said at the start of the season we need an extra creative player, because I just don't think the players we have right now are good enough at doing what we need.
You're talking now. Mason Mount was one of the best players in the world.
You need to chill out.
Let me finish. Can I finish my sentence? Can I finish? Mason Mount. Can I just finish?
You don't know who I am, bro.
Mason Mount was one of the players that get in between lines. It just needs to play to his strength. He is a young player, needs a lot of development, but he can get in between lines, and he's trying to do it. This is what you need to free up Lukaku a little, someone in between the midfield.
Yeah,
you know what?
But Mason Mount's never really been creative like that, man.
I think what we need in all honesty, though, what we do need is someone like Joey Linton to play centre mid so he can dominate the midfield. Like,
are we serious? Are we serious? Are we serious here? Are we serious?
That was a good shot. Good shot. Good shot.
In all seriousness, though, like, I think, look, let's look at it like this.
Well done. That's good. It's good.
Let's be real, though. In my opinion, you look at the team and the way it's structured. I don't want to hear like everyone said a couple of weeks ago it was fine. Do you know what I mean? The injuries start to pile up, and now everyone's changed their mind.
What I will say though, and this is in fairness to Liverpool, last year all of us said to Liverpool they're leaning too much on the injuries as an example. Like City don't have that number 9 they clearly wanted in the summer, but they've been able to manage without. So not only they're not got an injury, they just don't have someone
with injuries. Do City manage with injuries in your opinion?
So let's
say Sterling, Mahrez, and Foden get injured. Do you think they manage?
Yes. So can I say something? One thing about City.
They will, but I do look at Lukaku as still being a slight issue. There was little moments tonight. There was a time, and I wish we could show footage on the terrace, where a ball got played into him to go behind. And his first touch, he touched, and then the ball kind of rolled up and bounced off his back and his head a little bit and fell down. Those are the little things when I watch Lukaku that frustrate me about him. And it is his first touch to a degree. It's just sometimes he's a bit clumsy on the ball. And it's I think in the Premier League, which is faster than Serie A, those split-second moments where you lose a bit of momentum, the pass is just behind someone, the touch is a bit too heavy, you have to take 2-3 touches until you're set. In the Premier League, you lose momentum, and I just think That's the issue with him.
Lukaku wasn't an issue today, Terry. He was one of the best players on the pitch.
No, but I actually agree. I actually agree.
He defended well. He defended well. He defended well.
If he played badly, hand on heart, I would be the first one to come on. When he was going through that rough patch, I was saying it, and I had to take all the smoke. Today, he was even analysed in the first half by the people, by the pundits, because the fluidity thing, that's a myth. Because we were connecting well, things were going well, connecting, the dots were connected. The attack broke down so many times because of Mount and Hudson-Odoi today. And that's facts. In the first half, especially. In the second half, Cho had his big opportunity. I don't know why he tried to pass it. I would have just gone and shot. Like, I think
Literally, I don't know what he was doing.
I was so annoyed with him.
Confidence.
So annoyed.
He doesn't have the
Ugly.
confidence. He doesn't
Cam,
have the
straight-
confidence.
After the misses he's had, he just doesn't like.
Yeah, Cam, you were gonna say something, bro.
I was gonna say something that I want to that I think we all have to unfortunately maybe accept here, and this is a sad thing for me as long as Pep and Sheikh Mansour are a team, none of us are winning shit, and the reason being is because Daniel, you're saying, is City have cover for those injuries? Pep buys players before he replaces them. He buys players in case of injuries. This man, look at what he did with his fullbacks. He's like, oh, you're not working, chop and change. Yes, he's not spending exorbitant amounts of money like our squads are, but he's getting the right players in right before he needs to. Fernandinho, he's extended his career, 3-4 years probably, by bringing in Rodri early. Fernandinho was far from done, but look what he's done. Fernandinho's the captain. He barely plays. Rodri filled in. He lets these players fill in. Look, Sterling, we know Sterling's going to be gone soon. Jack Grealish, come in a few years early. It's insane the way they're working, the way Pep's team is so deep every year. They're able to go on these 5, 10, 15, 20, like they go on 10 game winning runs every year. None of our squads do that. So how are we supposed to win the league when you look at a City who can do that consistently because they have
by our team's just getting better. Like for me, it's literally just complacency. Like Chelsea have had too many draws this season, and a lot of them we were headed or we were dominating. Apart from the Brentford game and in this game here, where you can say, oh, Chelsea didn't maybe deserve to grab a point here, or the other team deserved to at least get something in that game, but. Most of the games that we've drawn this season, like you look at the United game, you look at Liverpool in the first half, you look at Everton, Burnley, you look at Wolves. These are games that we should at least maybe apart from Man United and Liverpool, but the other games that I've mentioned, we should at least be grabbing 3 points in them, and we were. But it's us not putting the team to bed, and that's just our problem. It's always been our problem, even when we had players like Eden Hazard. As soon as, for me, after that 16-17 season, it's been a consistent problem. We just struggle to create, struggle to put teams to bed at times, and it annoys me that the creativity in this team is so little. It's mad.
I think there's that. I think a lot of this comes down to mentality, though, when I'm watching Chelsea, because if you go back to those games you've dropped points in, a prolific world-class Lukaku put some of them away, but they weren't missing hard chances. They weren't half chances. They were clear-cut, and I expect most professional football players to put them away. And I feel like what's happened to Chelsea this season, yes, the injuries are there, and they're a very convenient excuse, and they probably played a part. But I'm reading here that Brighton had players that injured tonight. I don't know enough about their squad to actually, I didn't check. But it feels to me like you guys got top. You were top. The expectations started to increase. People like Jem and David that at the start of the season didn't say they were going to win the league started to believe. The pressure then mounts up. And you just didn't handle it well enough in these moments. Why City, for me, have been in the last 5 years better than everybody else? Yes, Pep plays great football. Yes, they have lots of money. And yes, they have a brilliant squad. But they've just handled the pressure better than everybody else.
That comes down to Pep, though, no?
Yeah,
authority.
The manager is a big part of that. I watched them tonight. I was watching the majority of their game was on my monitor at the same time as the Chelsea one. And Brentford, they were fighting with them, pushing them hard. But Man City just stood up and said, all right, if you want to play rough, we'll play rough back with you. And I enjoyed watching it because City they have that. And it reminds me of the very best Man Uniteds and the very best Chelseas and the very best Arsenals that we've seen in the Premier League, where whatever happened, they just raise their game to the next. Okay, if you're going to do that, we're going to do this. You're going to kick us, we're going to kick back. You're going to, and I just don't see that yet with Chelsea. And what I get injuries play a part, and I get it's one of the reasons why I don't want the festive fixture list to be touched one iota by anybody. It's the jeopardy that comes with it. It's so hard to go through it and pick up all your points. It really is. And the team, generally in the title race, the team that does the best through Christmas, as long as they're not already a million miles away at that point, has that base to go on and win the league from. It's the survival of the fittest. And look, Chelsea are a brilliant team. I expect you right now to have at least 8 to 9 more points than what you've got. You haven't been second best in the majority of the games that you've played in my opinion. You've got a brilliant team. You create good chances in games. Interesting thing is this: Hudson-Odoi's missed pass tonight doesn't count as a chance created, but it was a chance. And that's where sometimes stats can be misleading. Chelsea find themselves in those positions a lot, and you'll be kicking yourselves because a title race was on. But now what you have to guard against is having a bad season. Because I said the other day about being 10 points behind City at the end of the year, and everyone's like, no way we'll be that far behind them. You've got to guard against that now. You end up 15 plus points behind City, which isn't inconceivable from this position you find yourselves in. That's a disastrous season for a squad you're as good as yours. Same for Liverpool if they're that far behind. And of course, Man United's season is already disastrous. It's unrecoverable because a squad our size, without much money being spent, you shouldn't be that far behind City. And I think our clubs, all of us, need to step up and own that, I think.
Chelsea needs to start.
What I'd say though is that, in my personal opinion, and again, it's going to sound like maybe blind optimism, and maybe it is the because I love my club and the Chelsea fan in me, and I like to be positive. I think that's the only way you can look at things, unless you had Ollie as your manager, then yeah, fair enough. But that kind of positivity, for me personally, look, it reminds me of Jose's season when Jose first came back and he said, we're still not ready. We're the little pony, all this and that. And yes, some people might say, yeah, we got a £200 million squad. There were big ballers in that squad that Jose had. We had a spine back then, like players that we can call on to that could handle the pressure. And he literally said, we're just a year away. We're very, very close. We're just a year away. He went away and bought the 3 players that he thought he needed to sign. Diego Costa, Fabregas, Felipe Luis came in as well as a backup left back. And then it changed everything for us. I think we can have that same similar type of window where you had 3 players, top quality players, to this squad to come into the way Tuchel wants to play. And I think we're ready. Like I genuinely do believe if it's not this year, it will be next year. That's just me.
I think we need to start taking priority in the Champions League. Though I feel like this league was. I'll be real. I gave up on this league a long time before this game, man. As soon as we dropped points to United when we were supposed to beat them, I just said, nah, City are just gonna run away with this now. It's just how it's been.
You know what, Beast? I would say this though: you've got to be very careful. Again, if Tuchel was listening to you, and I mean this with respect, like you start not focusing on the league, then you do get dragged into that top 4 race.
Absolutely.
And if you get dragged into that top 4 race and it goes wrong, more injuries or anything like that, because I kind of agree with Dan. I think if they improve the squad, they'll definitely come back again next year. But not if you go out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League and finish 5th. Like you do that, Tuchel is gone.
Yeah, but we can still prioritize the Premier League. For me, this January window is so important. We signed the correct players, because I don't think we can do what we can stay out of a top 4 race this season with Alonso as our starting left wing back. I'm sorry, not just him, but with the way we're performing, there's a few players that need to join in. For me personally, in order to just keep us afloat.
I think regardless, you're in a top 4 race, in my opinion, but I don't think you'll fall out. I think it's literally impossible. But I personally think Chelsea will be in a top 4 race. I don't think it's
We said that about Man United. We literally said that in the beginning of the season, and after about 5 to 10 games, I have seen a lot of pundits and a lot of people saying that Man United have the quality to not drop from the top 4, and look at them now. They're stuck. Based on the current performance of this Chelsea squad and this Chelsea team, I know that we're talking about 4 points if Arsenal win and 6, blah, blah, blah. But if you keep the current performance and the current form, they might get sucked into a top 4 challenge with Arsenal, Tottenham, and Man United if they pick up the pace a little bit. We can't say that this Chelsea team that we saw today and the Chelsea team that keeps missing chances left and right is not going to get sucked into top 4 until they actually pick up the pace. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that on TV. I'm seeing that in the games. And we can't say quality. Man United, we said There's so much quality in this team to be dragged into a top four, like to be out of the top four. And look at them now.
I hear you on that. We are going to do some super chats. We're getting a bit of echo from someone there, which is weird. We're going to do some super chats to do here. I don't want to miss these. Alpha says here, Foden was excellent again. Best young player in the country. Expect a fresh Mahrez and Sterling to run riot at the Emirates. Title race is over if they beat Arsenal. Man City are levels above the rest. BC says, I agree with Terry. Even with Chelsea's injuries, the squad they have compared to teams they have dropped points against, they should be winning those games. And I completely agree with you. They're not drop points against, like when you played Everton and drew against them, look who they had out. Like, look at Man. It's not a good enough excuse to be this far behind, in my opinion. Premier League becoming a farmers' league is what Francis has got to say here. Spurs versus Chelsea is going to be even more exciting now. This is true. It's just going to end up happening. I would actually like Liverpool and Chelsea to drop lots more points in the next few games to create a top four race, because then at least there's something exciting going on in the season. Like if you've got City running away with it, Liverpool and Chelsea in the middle that are safe, and just two teams in a top four race, it actually is boring. So we kind of need that for the league. The same Chelsea fans that said Liverpool can't blame injuries, everyone gets them, are now complaining, is what Big Zubba's got to say. So Lampard was right when he said they weren't ready. Sorry, that made me laugh. I remember I did a meme on that. CFC Beast, I really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. I'm going to rotate the people on there a little bit. You're absolute legend. Thanks very much, my friend. Liverpool fan joining us now. Rivals always enter the fray at the Terrace. Wesley First says, when Chelsea were on top of the league, their fans were so unbearable. Now I love seeing them dwell in a pool of self-pity. It truly warms my heart. B says, got to be careful with the league. We all keep saying City will win the league. Next, there will be Newcastle in 10 years. It will become Spanish La Liga. Boring. Tuchel sacked by New Year's Day is what's being said. That's a madness. But there we go. ZAIN is with us on the show now. What are you saying, ZAIN?
Before I start, Terry, when you said Liverpool fan, you should have seen Daniel's expression. He was like, nah, yes, brother. It's me, brother. Your nemesis, calling you out on your nonsense again, bro. Mister, we're not predicated on one man. We've got a big, strong, we're the champions. We're two strong champions of Europe. Blah, 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 blah. What did I say from the start, bro, about you, man? You, man, can't do a 12-winning game streak like City or Liverpool, bro. And we're not on it this season. As I called out, we ain't got the tools. But you, brother, Mr. Big Four, no safety, all getting gas because what he did, half a match last time, bro. What did he do this time? Flop again. Flopped it. What, one goal, and what did he? Did he win the game? No, he didn't, bro. You kind of go out with all this, and now you're forgetting all the stuff you said, bro. I'm holding you to account for all the nonsense you've been chatting at the start of the season. Yeah, you look down, bro, because you've been exposed for your being a fraud, bro. You're, we're gonna get this league, we're champions, blah, blah, blah. Shut up, bro. All the things I was saying, all you, man, were trying to cuss me, bro. All you Chelsea fans in the chat, shut up, bro. What are you saying now? We got injuries. Shut up, bro.
Funny.
We weren't allowed to use that last week, bro. So what are you talking about? And for all you haters out there about my stream yesterday, triggered, bro. Bring it, bro. I know business about. I'm not a fan. I've been watching. I've been supporting a couple of 30 plus years. You guys weren't even born, bro. So I know good quality. So all you man in the chat, shut up, no matter, bro. Bring the energy, bro. Because unlike you, I don't care, bro. If you're triggered, I laugh about that, bro.
I'm not triggered at all, mate.
Look at your face, bro. Click the man's face, bro.
Yeah, man. Not triggered at all.
I'm not going to give it.
What I'll say is, no,
hold on. Before you finish, let me finish. Let me land this one a bit.
You hold on. You've spoken for a bit too much. Go on. First of all, yeah, is just be careful. You're shouting a bit loud before your wife comes in again. I wouldn't want that situation.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Should I bring in the head to call you a clan as well, bro? No problem, bro. It's all good.
When you look at
it's all good, bro. It's all good.
No one was talking about what's it called? Coming with a big one. He said my nemesis. You know the funny thing is people creating rivalries. No one even cares about. You're actually so irrelevant.
Do you know what makes me laugh though? The reason why I called you out, bro. You monologue for the time, bro. Chat bare not for 5 minutes, bro. And people that call you out there, I'm calling you out on your monologuing, predicated.
What happened yesterday? What happened yesterday on your stream? What happened yesterday? You couldn't call out the man them there because it was 5 against 1. Now you want to come in when
I called out all
Chelsea
the man.
Talk when
Do you know what?
your
Their man
team
got
draws, bro.
exposed yesterday.
Talk when
And
your
that's what I
team
don't like
draws.
about communist
Talk when your
Merseyside.
team draws,
Honestly, the Liverpool
You're
fans are
boring
a
now.
disgrace.
Before it was
They're
funny,
communists,
but
bruv.
now you're boring.
You're not allowed
man.
to cuss
You're
your
a
team, bruv.
40-year-old
Shut up
man
about that.
doing this. You're a 40-year-old man doing this. It's boring now. Come on, man. Grow
Can
up.
I say one
Is
thing?
that the best you can come
Have a
in?
real.
Can I back up the Chelsea
Are you
fans?
part of Chelsea? Are you
Be
a
like Cam,
professional?
Guys,
Are you a
guys.
professional and you can't even tell your team instead, bruv? Hey, man, you find the next job, bruv, because your coaching ain't helping you nothing, bruv.
And then
Because
we
if you
have a
can't see
real
how good your team is,
conversation.
boy.
Banter, and then we
Can
have
I
a real
can I say one
conversation.
thing? None of the
No,
Chelsea
Cam, one
fans
sec,
brought up
one sec,
injuries.
one sec.
I
I
did.
just-
That was me.
Cam,
Now you're paying for my
They
sins.
know, boy.
I just need him to
After the shit
understand
they
it.
gave me last year, boy.
Banter, and then have a real conversation like a rival fan. Now the 40-year-old
Okay, let's have a
bruv
conversation,
and this
brother.
and that. The way you talk, it's not funny anymore. It's actually not catching on. People don't like it anymore, innit? So I'm
Do I
just giving
care
you a
what
piece
people
of
think,
advice.
bruv?
I'm just giving
What
you a
point
piece
do
of
you think I
advice.
care?
Banter,
Honestly,
and then
if
have
you're
a
that
real
weak-minded that you
conversation,
care what
innit?
people
That's all I
think,
need
boy,
to
you
say.
best give up now,
Banter,
bruv.
and then have a real
You'll get
conversation.
violated because you
Zayn.
got exposed, bruv.
Zayn, do you have anything to say about the game at all?
Yeah,
Okay,
trust.
so about the game, clearly, all right, from my point of view, I saw the results. And again,
Wait, did you watch the game?
of course, I'm not wasting my time watching Chelsea because they're going to flop anyway, bruv.
Wait, so you've come on the review show, but you haven't watched the game?
Well, enough of you, man, do that, bruv. Enough of you, man.
Game
Chat.
to
Come on, bruv.
nemesis.
Enough of you, right?
Game to
The point I've come on,
nemesis.
right? What I've come on to do
Okay.
is again, is validate
David,
all the stuff
that
that I've been
David,
saying where
David
all you
Wilson
man
is
have been like,
nemesis.
they don't know what you're talking about. What
David
did
Wilson
Man
is
City do,
nemesis.
bro? What did Man City do? Did they win? Did they win? Did they
I
find
don't
out
know.
they win again like I told
Did
them
you
we'll
watch?
do?
Did you watch their game either? Did you
I'm
watch
sorry,
they do
guys.
that, bro?
I think we've had the best super chat of 2020. I can't even say it. It made me laugh saying it. It says, "In Zayn in the membrane."
Oh boy, do you know what
Great lyrics
Daniel,
with a
right?
great
No,
song, I'm
but
sorry.
honestly, give me explanation. Boy, and what, bro? Do you know what that makes me joke, right? This is me, bro. This ain't no act. Everyone's going, oh, he's chasing clout, blah, blah, blah. This is me, bro. But Daniel, let's go to the professional level because, boy, you love talk a lot and like you know what you're talking about when clearly you've been exposed for not knowing. So explain what's happened with Chelsea from the start of the season. You were gassing the thing up, bro. Explain what's happened with your squad depth, your talent, the quality you've got all over the squad. Come on, brother. Tell me, preach, bro. Tell me what happened, bro. Because I called it out. You ain't gonna win the league. So what happened, bro?
First of all, we're all not professionals. We all make predictions, and we all could be wrong. Like me saying Chelsea will win the league, I don't think it was far.
Even professionals make mistakes, by the way.
Exactly.
Even professionals make mistakes.
I don't really understand your point.
No, Daniel.
I said Chelsea will win the league. One sec.
You were talking with authority. 5-minute monologuing, bro.
As a Chelsea fan, I'm allowed to be gassed because my team won the Champions League, and I believe that we were strong enough to win the Premier League. Circumstances have made it that we might not win the Premier League anymore.
You might
but
not.
You're coming on here talking as if you're exposed. You need to do this. You need to do that, and I don't really understand. Like, what do you want me to say? I don't get it right. As much as I know you would want me to get it right all the time, but I don't. I just don't. I don't have that in me.
All I'm going to say is that the way you talk with authority, and you are a bit condescending to other fans. I've seen it, bro. Like, you know what you're talking about, whatever. I'm just highlighting, boy, you got exposed for nonsense because you don't know what you're talking about, bro.
If you
like
think
you
I'm
said,
condescending, if you think I'm condescending, I apologize for that. That's not how I tried to
come across. Apologize to me.
However,
apologize to other fans you've been doing to, bro.
What I would say is me talking with authority has nothing to do with me trying to be condescending. That's the way I come across. I'm someone who talks authoritatively. So what's the point of me talking if I can't have my say? We're all here to have our opinions, to have our say. If you think I've been condescending to you, I'm very, very sorry that it's come across like that.
Okay, so Daniel, who do you think will win the league in your authoritative opinion, bruv?
Who do I think will? I think Man City.
I'm not saying,
I think Man City will win the league, but I still think there is a race on. I still think.
Can I get a minute, please, guys? I just want to say something that I've seen in this from the first minute, from the first game in this league. Even though Chelsea were winning games, Liverpool were winning games, Man City were winning games. The only team that I never saw get sucked within a game, and Terry said that on I think earlier about you always feel that City will have this extra gear ahead of the other team. It didn't matter. Like when they played Brighton, Graham Potter still tried to play his brand of football, pass the ball, tried to press, and did this and that. but they just won the game fair and square. I think it was 4-1 or something. Today, I felt that Chelsea got sucked into what Brighton wanted to do. And even Liverpool yesterday, it looks like Liverpool were pressing and pressing and pressing, but I felt that actually Liverpool were being driven into the areas where Brendan Rodgers wanted them to go. It's not the other way around. Even though the statistics show Liverpool having all the position of the game, the crosses and all the stuff, but it felt like they are being driven. And this is what I don't see from the City team. Always, I feel that City team is dominant. Even 1-0 today against Brentford, I felt that they had the upper hand for 90 minutes. Yes, there is 5 minutes when they get a lot of like free kicks on them and stuff like this. But I did not see the way, for example, Aston Villa against Liverpool. Aston Villa had this spell when you felt that something might happen from this team. And it's a long period that Liverpool and Chelsea go through when they play their games. I don't see that from City. And this is why we feel always that City will have a chance, bigger chance of winning the league. And I have a Liverpool fan here and I have Chelsea fans. Do you guys sit on your chair worried? Because I feel that Man City fans, they're not worried most of the time. But I feel that from
I think
Chelsea
what you're saying there
City
is kind of what Terry's brought up about the whole not wanting this festive season to change an iota. And I agree because I'm off during that time and it's the perfect time for me to watch football all the time. It causes chaos. Let's be honest. It causes chaos. Every year you see, what do you call them, Terry? Coupon breakers or something like that?
Coupon busters, yeah.
Coupon busters. It's terms I still am learning. Still don't get my British out. They always happen during this time or during congested periods, because at the end of the day, it is so hard. If we're gonna sit here, which we all do, and say this is the best league in the world, it's the funnest to watch, the most talented, XYZ. A lot of people say that. I agree. Like, I think it's the best league. Obviously, teams, even at the bottom, and especially once this period starts happening, it's always said you don't want to play relegation sides because they're fighting too. They everything's on the line for them as well. It's not like they put it. Yes, their quality is nowhere near as good as the top sides, but the top sides have to rotate. Have to rotate means you get inconsistencies, means you don't get cohesion. So you start seeing these teams drop off. You start seeing teams get kind of found out, or whatever they want to do not exactly work they want. Should we have expected Salah to go on this? Salah's been on a historical run, something we've never seen before. It was obviously going to end soon as his goals dry up. What happens? Leicester capitalize. If you look at Chelsea, you've been overperforming your XG for Lord knows how long. Yes, this was eventually going to happen. With United, we've watched it, Terry, year in, year out. We drop points to who? A team that's in the relegation fight every year. Sheffield United, we saw it a few years back. Every year, we lose to for whatever inexplicable way, mentality, whatever you want to call it, we lose to a team that's in a relegation fight, or we draw, which feels like a loss, and it's basically where our season turns. So this period, this is what happens. It's great to see.
That's the reason why I was saying that for Chelsea fans, it's dangerous to just implode. Like the problem that people have is imploding far too prematurely on certain situations that are sometimes out of your control. I mean, Tuchel was even asked today now, just after the post-match press conference, are you in the title race? And he's been screaming like, fam, we're not. With the COVID cases, the injuries, we don't have the consistency of the team.
I'm just about to read that quote out. He says, how should we be in it? We've had 7 COVID cases. We've had 5 or 6 players out for 6 or more weeks. How should we compete in a title race? Is what Tuchel's had to say.
I said from the start of the season that we aren't in the title race, so we're the ones hunting after it. But it's not us to win.
Can I say about Man City? Why are they so disrespected, bro? Because you lot, no one.
Can you not have?
No one's really calling Man City fans from the start.
Must we all think the same way? Can we not have?
No. Now you guys are. But when you were top, and Man City were third,
because the evidence has changed.
I feel like I was the only one saying Man City are favourites. Man City are favourites.
When everyone's on 0 points, right? You can have whatever opinion you want, because there's one season where Leicester won the league. That's what happens. When a team is 10 points ahead of everyone, then it's like
the issue is James. Do you want a medal for being right about Man City?
No, I want to know why the disrespect for Man City. Why are you not giving them even when you were
Zain. It's not about disrespect. I'll give you an example. It's a bit like this. It's a bit like, take it out away from the Premier League. When the Euros was building up and we sat on this show, we had over 10 different people came on. Who's going to win it? everybody that didn't pick France wasn't disrespecting France. They just believed somebody else might go on and win it. Equally, loads of people picked Turkey as dark horses that could do well, and they were awful. When it comes to making predictions, you base it on things that you've seen. You kind of, sometimes there's a little bit of hope in there as well, and it is what it is. But what's interesting is we've created this thing now in football social media where if you go, Terry, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? And I say, I think Bayern Munich might do it. We say Liverpool are crap. No, I'm just, it's the bipolar, polarized like response to everything. I thought and I believed that Chelsea were going to have the staying power to go the whole season. They are proving they can't do that. I don't care that I was wrong. I didn't say City were rubbish. I didn't say City couldn't win it. I didn't say City were going to be nowhere near it. I didn't say Chelsea were clear of City. I just thought that all three of your teams, because it's, well, we haven't got no City fans on, but City, Liverpool and Chelsea would be neck and neck the majority of the season. And the maddest thing is, the points that Liverpool and the points that Chelsea have dropped have been in narrow games. Games in majority of the time, you guys actually were the better team in. You just didn't finish your dinner, as an example. It isn't like you guys have been battered. You didn't get battered by Leicester and battered by Spurs in the last week or so. Chelsea weren't battered by Man United, battered by Burnley, battered by Everton, battered. Well, they were kind of battered a bit tonight, to be fair, by Brighton, to give respect to them. Just not quite gone in that way. Equally, 2 seasons ago when you won it, Man City fell away. They were absolutely brilliant up until December, and then they fell away. It's honestly, I find it weird that it's not. You see it all the time in the comment sections. Now, always when you turn around and say, like, who do you think the best player in the world is? Oh, do you know what? I think right now, who's the best striker? Oh, I think Lewandowski. Oh, you saying that Haaland plays golf? No, I'm just saying that it's honestly, it's so infuriating because it isn't an argument. It's just an arbitrary vibration coming out of someone's, it's not even noise, it's just a vibration coming out of someone's mouth that don't make any sense to me. We've got some super chats. I'm going to bring Egal in to have his say. Zain says Zain came on and was like the UFC press conference where some guy in the back was running his mouth, and then who the fuck is, and then I think it means Conor McGregor says, who the hell is that guy? Made me laugh. Thank you, Mr. Anthony, for the super chat. Man City here says Chelsea have Liverpool and Man City next. Is that Chelsea's next 2 games?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, I would love for Chelsea to win both. It would be fantastic. Like it would completely blow this whole thing up.
That's mad. Listen, Zain, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man, for giving us your time tonight. And we're gonna bring it. Cheers. Take care. Cheers, mate.
Nemesis strikes again, didn't it?
Nemesis,
Is that a ride? I suppose that's a ride at Fort Park.
Yeah,
take care, my bro. That's a good ride. It's a good ride. Take care, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, hard.
Top man. Egal's on the show with us now. What you saying, Egal?
Champions of Europe couldn't even get a what? The champions of Europe couldn't even get 3 points against Brighton. You couldn't even hold possession.
Oh my God.
Come on. Honestly, I love you guys. You guys make me laugh. You want to know what it is? At the beginning of the season, Jorginho, Ballon d'Or, this, that. We're gonna win the league. We're the champions of Europe. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We got Lukaku, and then COVID happens. Then injuries happen. Then all these things happen. Oh my God, we need our team back. We need our team back. We need our team back. Today, everything I have been saying happened again. You guys still don't look like you still can figure out your attack. Thomas Tuchel has to hold some credit for getting you guys through some of your rough patches. But right now, I'm giving him corn because he should be able to get the best out of these players. He should be able to get some sort of cohesion from this attack, and you can't find that. Also, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'm done talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi. He is not even a Wobie. A Wobie is clear of Callum Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi is the Ghanaian version of a Wobie. At this point, don't put him in the category of these other youngsters. He's done out here. Callum Hudson-Odoi, you turned down 70 million from Bayern for this guy. You should have took that money and ran. He's useless. Also, let me continue. Lukaku, big up to him. He scored a goal. Look, big up to some of these players. But I had a guy say to me the other week that, Chelsea Football Club need their midfielders back. They need their injuries. They need their proper pivot. Today you had Jorginho and Kovacic in that midfield, and you couldn't even boss Brighton. And you were at home. Guys, Credibility is out the window. Chelsea Football Club have the next 2 games against the two teams that are better than them. And honestly, I could see you guys dropping points in both those games and falling back into the top 4 race instead of just considerably being in a title race. Now you could fall into the top 4 race. And I don't feel sorry for you guys. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Egal, you said a few days ago that you said Chelsea, look out, Arsenal are coming for you. Are you believing that more and more with Chelsea dropping points?
It's not about Arsenal today, Terry. It's about Chelsea.
Yeah. and we're talking about Chelsea. Bro. We're talking about Chelsea though. We're saying, yes. Can you catch Chelsea? We're talking about Chelsea because you said you could.
All I can say is they had a 6-point lead after we played them at the beginning of the season, turned into a 9-point lead, and you know what? We have picked up more points than them over the last 17 games of the season this season so far. So if my math is correct, we have done well. But I don't know if we can continue.
No,
that.
Your maths are not correct because if you were 6 points, they're now 7 points.
No, but how many points did they have? How many points did they have after week 3? Did they have 7 or 9?
I remember.
I don't know if they won all 3 games, but yeah. Anyways, continue. Yeah. My point is, Chelsea, you guys are supposed to be in the title race. Arsenal, we're supposed to be relegation candidates, and then mid-table fodder.
No one said that.
And at this point, we are 7 points behind you. You guys are going to be more closer to us after you play Liverpool. If you lose to Liverpool, it's 10 points between you and Man City. And in my opinion, that's title race over for you guys. The title race was fairy dust.
Daniel, you know the funny thing is, we're actually ahead of Liverpool right now.
I don't care. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about Liverpool. I'm talking about Man City. Your title rivals. You were supposed to
be closer to you than the title race.
What?
You just said we'd be closer to you positionally than the title.
No, I did not say that. I said you'd be 10 points off Man City right now.
Anyway, I find it funny how everyone loves to throw shade at us, but when it has to go back to them.
We're not like
I've been really nice to Chelsea this year.
I don't know what we
be
did.
honest.
I've
been very fair.
I don't know.
Guys,
at this point, Chelsea are closer to Arsenal than actually Man City. With Arsenal game in hand, but that doesn't mean anything. But that doesn't mean anything because Arsenal still have to play Spurs, City.
Mate, listen, I'm saying this now, Terry. The only reason why I'm hating is because I'm associated with David. I'm blaming David now.
How is this my fault? I'm one of the only Chelsea fans who said we weren't going to win the league.
David, say this with chest right now. Say this with chest right now. You guarantee you guys are going to finish 3rd.
I think yes. No, not 3rd.
You're guaranteed.
3rd or higher. Yeah.
His question is, you're guaranteed. You're very sure. Like you think we're not taking this against you.
No. If I was to put my money on it today, I'm putting money on Chelsea finishing in the top 3.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a stupid.
Hold on. Hold on. He doesn't get to ask that question and then worm out of it. Do you think Arsenal will finish above Chelsea?
No.
I wouldn't put my money on it now.
Well, guess what? I wouldn't. I'm not the champions of Europe. I'm not the team that just came off a Champions League.
You've never been the champion.
I'm not the team that just came off a Champions League and is saying, you know what, they can't even get a hold possession against Brighton at home. Danny Welbeck came to your yard.
Brighton are one of the
Chelsea are the champions of the Champions League. Chelsea, I got ripped apart for this take a long time ago. Chelsea are the champions of the Champions League. The champions of Europe thing, you didn't win the Prem. I said it already. I hate that phrase, champions of Europe, because in my opinion, for you to be the champions of Europe, you had to at least be the best team in the league.
Terry, hold on. We're not doing this, please. We're not doing this. We are not doing this. Because why is it when it's Chelsea, we can't have the title? Suddenly now, wait, hold on, Cam, hold on. Suddenly now, we can't say we're the champions of Europe. We can't say we're the best team in Europe when we won the competition, which stipulates who's the best team. One sec. How many teams win the Premier League or win their division title, and win in the
Real Madrid? So by the way, Daniel, I qualified.
How regular?
When I said this point, I said for me to feel like any teams that, not just you, it wasn't just you. It's any team that wins the Champions League, especially fraudulently, like the way Chelsea did. If you don't win your own league, I hate the whole we're the champions of Europe, because if you couldn't even get through your league as the best,
Real Madrid didn't do that.
But they've done it multiple times.
Guys, I
You
do
didn't win the title.
hear
You
that
wouldn't did
point.
the league.
I do hear that point. I
You
just want to
didn't
go
win the
back very quickly because Danny Welbeck tonight is not called Welbeck. He's called Wele. We're calling him Wele tonight. He's Wele tonight.
Well,
We've got some more rivals. We've got some more rivals to throw into the mix as well. Now we've got Tom Little and Jessica Black with us now. How are you both doing? You good?
Pretty good.
What you here to say, Jess?
Egal, I love you so much, but I just have to say, for the entire Arsenal community, we do not claim you from this day forward. Like, some of the things that you say, we just let go, but like, we are going to get slapped by City on Saturday. What are you doing? What are you saying? Like, I don't get it. Chelsea, yes, it's funny when they drop points. It's funny when rivals drop points, but like, come on, we're going to get slapped. And people are going to be in my mentions telling me that I've said these things. I'm going to come on the terrace and people are going to be asking me about what I said. I didn't say any of this. I am not claiming Egal's comments, what he's saying right now. I'm separate from this. That's just all I had to say because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, what is he doing? And why is your camera not on? Why is your camera not on? Why can't we see your face when you say the
He's
thing?
scared to say that on camera. He's scared to be recorded on camera saying that.
He knows I don't clip it up if there's no camera footage.
Yeah, he's scared to be recorded like this on camera.
I couldn't, like, what's happening? But yeah, like, it is what it is,
I
right?
will say this. about Egal. I love Egal. Egal knows how much time I've got for him, right? But I love Egal. Every time Egal, every time Arsenal.
He's on. I love it. I love it.
Every time Arsenal win 3 or 4 games on the bounce, the size of Egal's balls grow. They're just like, it's huge.
Stop. First things first. I'm at work, so I took a break right now just to do this. Second of all, Jess, I did not speak about Man City at all. I did not say we're going to finish above them. They asked me that straight point blank, and I said no. Also, I don't think we're even going to beat City. Now, moving on to the next thing. What's going on with Friendly Fire? This is about Chelsea. Okay, they just dropped points, and they're going to be facing Liverpool and Man City.
Now it's Friendly Fire.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think you came with
you
knives.
threw it onto yourself when you
Stop,
said
stop,
Callum
Tom,
Let me finish.
Tom, hold on.
First things
You
first.
didn't come with Friendly Fire. Don't do that. Because if you beat Man City, Terry, you'll be the first one on here saying, I told you so. I told you so. Don't do that.
Let me finish, bro.
Don't do that.
Let me finish. I don't think we're going to beat Man City, but I do think we're going to probably do well against Tottenham. When it comes to Chelsea, their next 2 games are versus Man City and Liverpool. They could drop the next 2 games and be in a bigger hole than us right now. Because guess what? We are not supposed to be where we are. They are supposed to be where they are. At the end of the day, I can give them smoke because at the end of the day, I'm a football fan and I can come on and give anybody I want smoke. And you know what? If you don't want to claim me as an Arsenal fan, you don't have to. You don't have to. I don't really care. But what I am not saying right now, I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm talking about Chelsea Football Club. And you know what you just did? You gave them an out. You gave them an out. Today's about them holding corn, and you gave them an out.
The team in second holding corn.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're in second. Like, they're literally in second. Like, I could understand if they had already lost against whoever their next games are, Liverpool and Spurs. But like, we play Spurs and Man City. Like, it's always relevant. Okay, you popped off. Look, it's just that thing where it's kind of like you kind of have to hold your fire a little bit until after this weekend. At least chill.
That's not Egal. Can't change.
No strategy. Just vibes.
We spoke about it on Straight Facts earlier today, right? Arsenal could get a positive result against City and beat Spurs, and then be looked at by everybody as the favourites for that 4th space. They could lose their next 2 games and be behind Spurs and 1 point in front of United with those games having 2 games over them. And then you'll see tweets from Arsenal fans saying, I don't really know what Arteta's doing with this squad and this team. That's how mad football has become. But everybody I just call it the gym effect. And if you've never watched American Pie, you won't get the reference. It's the gym effect. It's legitimately the gym effect, if you get where I'm coming from, where the premature ejaculation is a madness to me.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? If we lose to City, if we lose to City and we lose to Tottenham, it still doesn't change my.
You're missing my point here. What happens is this, right? I see this from every single fan base. I think Sam, who's an Arsenal fan, part of Gold Diggers, tweeted this, and it's one of the best tweets ever. We're all kind of the same as fans. What will happen is Arsenal fans will give it to Chelsea. They'll give it to United and Spurs in this last 3 or 4 days. they'll get beat by City at the weekend. People will give it to them, and it'll be like, "How dare you banter us? We're here." It's like no one likes taking
you
the
can't
banter. They
banter
don't
us.
want to give it out.
Listen, you can't banter us against losing it at home against City.
can't.
When you lose
But
to
you're playing.
Brighton at home, it's
Who are you? Of course. Hang on a minute. Like
different level.
no, you can't.
Harry, you're doing it again. You're
No.
backing Chelsea. This is about
No,
Chelsea.
I'm not backing Chelsea.
You're
I'm
just
not
dominating
backing
at home,
anyone.
and you're backing Chelsea.
Egal. I'm not
They got
backing
dominated.
Chelsea.
They got their ass handed to them.
Egal.
Danny Welbeck with that ass.
Yo,
And you're giving it, and you're letting them slide.
Egal. I am not talking about Chelsea. I'm saying this. You saying there's no banter if you get beat by City. It depends on the result and the performance. You get beat 6. I'm not saying you will. You get beat 6-0 and get ripped apart. That's banter. What do you mean there's no banter if you lose to City? That's nonsense.
So
You're at home. You're at home. If you get ripped
There's
apart by
banter
City,
in everything.
Here, so
Banter
can I
in
say,
everything.
Gal? The only
The
thing
level,
though,
the level of backlash you're gonna get.
But you're not listening. You're not listening to Egal. You're not listening to my point. Of course, you're free to banter everybody. Do it. My point is, when it comes back at you, you get so flustered and annoyed about it, but yet you're the biggest guy to give it out. I find it brilliant.
No,
It's hilarious.
so hold on. So
Every single stream, and the fact that my work schedule changed, I'm not able to come on every single time. But if
I
there
didn't
is
say
a
you
game
duck it.
and
I
we
didn't say you
lose,
duck it.
I
I
hold
didn't
it.
say you don't come on. I said you get flustered. Why are you bantering us? Why is there no
yeah,
respect?
Gal.
Why don't
So
we
Gal,
back-
hold on.
It's mad.
So the thing is, you always
but this
say,
is about
but Gal,
Chelsea.
Gal,
Why
one
are you
sec,
letting them off,
exactly,
guys?
Gal,
You're
exactly.
letting them off the hook.
So, bro, that phrase, you always say it when somebody brings up Arsenal and we're not talking about Arsenal. You're always like, why are we talking about Arsenal? Why are you coming at me about Arsenal? It's because you do this. It's like, so I get it. Today is about Chelsea. Chelsea got smoked, in my opinion. I said it earlier. Absolutely. But they still are in second place. It's still like, you hurt. I can't come too hard because we're in fucking 7th. But it's just like, at the end of the day, Gal, I've watched the league where the last 2 years where United not finishing top 4, we were dead in the water, this or that, and then we finished above Chelsea and Leicester, and then it's like, it's cool to give it now, but bro, like Arsenal is susceptible to not make up the
I don't know
picture.
how much of my stream Egal. Let me just say just very quickly before we go to Tom. I don't know how much of my stream you've watched. I've sat here and rejected the notion that injuries are a big enough excuse to be this far behind. I've said this amount of points behind Chelsea is an unsuccessful season for Chelsea Football Club. I spoke about how they were outplayed, outclassed, and actually battered at home tonight by Brighton. That's not letting Chelsea off the hook. However, I don't go so far in right now because my team plays tomorrow night against Burnley. I'm just keeping my powder dry. That's all I'm doing, bruv. That's all it comes down to. Like, the thing is, you see it yesterday, like, banter's always there, and I get that it exists, and you're absolutely right to banter who you want. That's a message we push out on the terrace. Just because Arsenal are not at Chelsea's level over the last, it doesn't mean you can't banter them. I get that. All I'm saying is you sometimes go at the wrong time. It's like, maybe wait until after City and Spurs. Maybe you win both those games and you're in a really strong position, then go. Maybe not doing it. Don't do it before you go 2 back-to-back really hard games, because then everyone will come for you, because they'll come for you, because that's how fans are.
To be fair,
can you imagine?
Because not only that, when you say things, literally, people act like I've said them. That's why I need to come out and say I have not said these things. Like, I haven't said these
to be fair, to be fair to Gal, this might be the only. He's looking at the schedule saying this might be it.
Someone's coming after you. I'm a back you no matter what.
He's looking at the schedule saying this might be it though, for real.
No, I started out by saying I definitely of course, I love you, like you're cool and everything like that. Sometimes I just think you just went too hard, and they're gonna come for me because
I love how he gets flustered when he's handed out corn as well. That's what
I love Egal as well tonight. I mean, you went so mad. You even changed Hudson-Odoi's nationality tonight, bruv. You went in. Do you know what I mean?
He's gonna become Ghanaian. He's gonna play for the Ghanaian national team because he's never gonna play for the England national team.
He's got caps for England.
He's got a cap for England.
Does he?
He played a competitive game for England. I don't think he can.
You can change that. You can change that. You can change it. You can submit a petition.
I'm not going to say why, but right now I'm trusting Daniel on what's going on at Chelsea. That's all I'm saying. Tom's here with us. What are you saying, Tom?
2 things first. First of all, I actually found what Egal was saying really funny until the shout of Iwobi is better than Callum Hudson-Odoi came up. And at that point, I was just gone because I hate Everton, and it pains me to watch Alex Iwobi on that football pitch. It pains me. He should not be touching a football pitch. The man is on the pitch because he's got a really good uncle. Second of all, I don't think I'm really in a position to go with Chelsea, considering we also held Brighton. Brighton held us at Anfield, not really in a position of power. The one thing I do want to ask, though, I've not been here the whole time. What did the Chelsea fans think of that situation at the end when Mount fouled, was it Dan Burn, and kicked it in the goal, but the ref blew his whistle?
Tom, do you know what's mad, yeah? Like, and do you know what? It's fair, isn't it? Because obviously everyone as a Chelsea fan, you have to expect the banter, you have to take it. But we haven't even been able to talk about certain things that I think we should be talking about. For example, in my personal opinion, I think Pulisic should have got a penalty. The leg was stuck out, and he tripped over that leg, so it should have been a penalty. I'm not saying we deserve to win, by the way. Let me put that out as a disclaimer. I'm not saying we deserve to win. I think we had chances, so it wasn't like a battering where we were literally all guns blazing and we couldn't even get out.
Brighton played off the park.
I think we had chances to win the game despite them dominating. I think that's how I see it in it. So if you see it as passed off the park where we couldn't even get into the game, that's fair. But I think we got played off the park. However, because we are such a good team, we still had chances to win the game.
Because of the quality you have, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Because of the quality we have. So I think Pulisic should have got a penalty first of all. I don't think the Mount one was a foul. Can see why it was given, but really, like, he was waiting.
I didn't think it was a foul either.
I don't think it was a foul. But you can't complain about that. You actually can't.
I felt like the referee was pretty much the penalty shout you're talking about. I feel like he lost control of the ball. There was very slight contact.
I think that's kind of.
But also, you said on Twitter
that the law of the game, you have to have control of the ball in that with that kind of minimal contact. I think.
I think it's one of those where it's like if Mike Dean had given the pen, it wouldn't have been overturned. It's just one of those where it's
But we haven't talked about Lukaku and Lukaku's hand on Mope as well. We haven't talked about that. Okay, hold a second. Some people thought it was a foul, and they said Mope fouled Lukaku first, but that doesn't mean that you hit him in the face.
Well, do you know what I find interesting about it? For me, if I was a Brighton, you can't do it to take the risk of being sent off. But now what I would do every time my shirt gets pulled or I get held in the box now, just start throwing your arms around. Just everyone do it. And then even if you get banned, you can just show the case in point that Lukaku, I was fine with it. I didn't care about the goal. But one thing I was tweeting about is I do find it interesting how if you did what Lukaku did, if you were counter-attacking and someone pulling your shirt and you swing an arm back, you get booked. But yet in that scenario, you can score goals. That's one of the things why I get so annoyed at like BT Sport and Sky and Prime. Why don't you ask your in-house referee? And every fan wants to know why that foul with Lukaku scoring doesn't get overturned. But if Lukaku was on a counter-attack and threw an arm back and hit someone in the face when he had a shirt being held, he could even be sent off. It's like, why are they looked at? I just want to know why they're looked at as being different. Equally, if you're in the middle of the park and you start obstructing the ball, not trying to play it, you get done for obstruction. But when you shadow a ball out for a corner, you're allowed to do it. I just would love to ask a referee what makes those two situations different. I understand that the scenario where the ball is different, but what makes one a foul in 1 minute and not a next? But I don't think there was any real bad decisions tonight, to be fair, that anyone could really pull on too much. I've got some super chats to do. I don't want to miss these. It says here, don't forget City are being investigated by the Premier League. Wonder what happens if they lose. That would be a fine, good enough. Fine, be good enough after the FIFA investigation. But it's investigating things that happened 5-6 years ago. So I don't think it would impact anything now. They might just have some league titles taken away. Liverpool might get a league title from 2014. Chelsea have already dropped more points after leading this season 11 than they did in the whole of last year 10. That's an interesting statistic, to say the least. Artful Dodger says, Daniel, a few weeks ago with Chess, says you don't think Chelsea are the best team in the world. Bants aside, Chelsea have already bottled it big time, is what the Artful Dodger has got to say. Andre says, big up Jess for being level-headed Arsenal fan, but Egal is the very reason why rivals love to banter Arsenal fans. Yeah, like to a degree, you're right. And I don't mean that rudely, Egal. It's true. When you give out banter, you get banter back in the other direction. You saw Tans get it yesterday because Tans went for Arsenal fans saying, why are you celebrating? We've got 3 games in hand. Calm down. Don't be excited. They drew a game. Everyone comes. If she and other Spurs fans hadn't tweeted that or said that, they wouldn't have got half as much stick for drawing a game. That's just football. But you've got, my only caveat is that the thing is this. If you give it out, You got to be able to take it and laugh at your own team in those moments and not get angry. That's Daniel's done very well tonight, because Daniel's been, in fairness, there's been like 5 draws recently where everyone's come for Daniel big time, especially Zain and Hussein. They've really done.
Oh, I need to work on that. That's definitely.
Yeah,
I
Jess,
love to have a
you-
little fun, but then I can't take it. So that's why I'm
Jess-
trying to like hold on.
And you know,
Jess
Jess is the worst.
And we've done Bet Victor with her, and sometimes she sat there for an hour and 40 minutes and not moved her face. I thought she had too much Botox in LA because the face ain't moving, no emotion, like you can't take it at all.
Harry, can we not act like I haven't been in the dungeon all last season?
So this is what I just said. Gal, I understand it, I get it, because you're probably looking at the fixture list, you're looking at the table, and you're like, yo, this is I gotta talk my
Harry,
shit now.
See, I can't.
I get it.
It's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard in my life.
I can't. I don't think anybody said you can't. I can't.
I want to say something about Arsenal. Since we're talking about Arsenal.
Let me say my full point. Let me say my full point. After Aston Villa beat us away at home 3-0, I went on this show, did a whole 2 hours. Then I went on the night show on Midnight Vibes, did a whole hour there. And then the next morning,
You're getting rushed by 6 guys.
You're
When you're getting rushed by 6 guys, stop swinging. If you're getting beat up, just take it. It's fine.
I'm saying, Egal, I'm not saying you don't come on and face it. You're one of the best at that, brother. I'm saying the amount of times you've sat on streams and been like, why is it like when people are bantering Arsenal? Why don't no one show us respect? Why don't no one do this? You get annoyed by it. And I'm like, bruv, the reason people come for you on it is because you throw a lot of salt and laugh at other teams. So people are going to come for you as well. If you didn't banter anybody and say things about other clubs, you'd get 90% less. That's all I'm saying, my brother. Like, you take it on the chin, as in you turn up, but you sometimes get annoyed that people banter you. And I'm like, of course they're going to come for you because you come for them, bruv. It's give or take. That's all, brother.
Guess what? We turned the Chelsea show into Egal show. I love it.
Okay. Each fan base are sensitive when it comes to banter. You saw it yesterday and seeing it today. It's what makes football even more great. Love the show. You're absolutely right. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're off. We're finished. Thank you all very much for tuning into the show. Really appreciate it massively. Back tomorrow. I've got a number of shows. Lee Gunner's on. I've got the Bet Victor show. I don't know what time yet, but the Bet Victor show is on. And Man United losing to Burnley tomorrow night as well at Old Trafford. We're going to be live after that game. Can't wait. I've got 2 more days of drinking before I give up drink for 2022. That's a nice little announcement. Not that I have a problem. I want to get in good shape. It's purely about fitness. Until next time, people, all the subscribers, everybody, thank you. Big shout out to our title sponsors again, Fan Team. Remember, it's free to enter their second chance fantasy football season. Starts in 14 days' time. Click on the link now and go and get yourself signed up. You better go and do it because it's free to enter. And if you win, if you're that good at fantasy football, £100,000 cash we're going to give you. 100 grand for playing a game for free. Go and get it sorted. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. Daniel, Mo, Tom, Egal, Cam, David, Jess, Zain, CFC Beast. There was one other person that came on today, and I now forget who it was. But thank you all very much